to ablakwa abaso
also aso ye share ahodeni ho ensam so na eba mane se abadwako apanyifo ye se wo mo enhwehwe ECG wo mo containers bi ayereye e wo port no committee no ababonte so ma yenhwemu ahu ba bia containers be se 2637 e share e wo ye manyimu
nyame ne dalase na foreign affairs and regional integration committee of parliament a member bako wo so ayo honorable Patrick ya aboama wono ana ehse se bibi akoso e wo Ghana tenaya e wo Washington DC and sese soafo ne tum na mom omo aye bone no ana ye mamra no eni wo machire enimere nsem bi ka wori mo ene yese hu nkodwa ba kenkan dia sommo akenkan fo ayeme mrantenu aba maame efomwa kafina mene
ajwa nyako abronoma
track 1 yegina so ne abesom
Sikka FM track 1 yen ye kro 89.5 Sikka FM
Sikka FM 89.5 Yes Suma Santimai Sikka FM 89.5 Yes Suma Santimai
Yes Suma Santimai ne Ghana ma ye wiase nyina aka ho afei ya daruma ensam no na yewura moyi na shebedwa mo chame hine right honorable Aban Sumana Kase3 6Pm wono na de kokobo ama na shebedwa fo ni nyina sa obia nyana dwene se obekwa akoye bibia wobetomra na chese wadwane ade mra shebedwam ahobambo a wo ho na ba bekata ne ho sai mra shebedwa ni de wonam kwaso akwa akodi dwuma anasa mra shebedwa no soma baabia eni kwanse achiwunti na wakoye bibi na mra ne sanade mirika baba sha emrashe bedwa kuntunkunu yase wose da bi ewo mu sai won so se wobi wonye boni bia na amanyosem nti ne tata ni pakro amanyosem nti politically motivated persecution ose no de anya de so obeso so sa wo ma obi mfa amanyosem enkata nani no mfa medi mrashe bedwa ni bia ni mfa metata na adwuma saso wo ye de mane manfo na afei wontumi enye na adwuma no adane sama atwantwan wonu wontumi mrashe bedwa fie ho wontumi ntana mpeso so da bi eno de so na so eno so nkyere se won so yamra shebedwa fia o yamra shebedwa ni a obama trima ya oda na mra shebedwa fo de omo enjoy immunity bi na me kwa afie ho ma me na mkwa so ya ncheme na fa he na kwesi hintina sabi o mpredua sa wakodi anyampra sama wakwaya de betomra na odi sa de na ya katakati woni da bi wo so no de ba sa obeyiwa ma entu yamra shebedwa ni a bobra sade se yentie mna shebedwa mo chame hine right honorable Aban Sumana Kase3 6Pm.
Parliamentary privilege is not immunity from lawful inquiry. It is not a license to disregard the law. The immunities granted to the House and its members are designed to protect the independence of the legislature, not to obstruct justice. These provisions are institutional safeguards. They were never intended as escape routes.
Mrashebedwa mo chamehire eno no wode nsam wanyira etudwa awo mrashebedwa enkunu ya wo mo ho sisi mrashebedwa fie nkunu ya toso mrashebedwa toso nkunu ya wo hoyi wo mo asetena edi kan awo mo nhia mo mienu ase na wode tudwa wasanso ade to aso se wow sana no bi ebeto dwasem ra shebedwa fie ho no ma shebedwa ni bi ebie na no honorable krote kwale mra shebedwa ni honorable Zenata Jema Rollins wo bi didi na tam e masabio mpredua asan bi kokan ne papa wato na no wose do sa I would ni ba daughter of a medra wo chese sa asem no ehwehwemu guso a ekoso a eto entwa ye kura no mu no sanso e ka kire mra shebedwa fo so omo nhwe no mankaso omo fa buo no munya say ya no omudidi ho atem no yenti eno so said okan.
The investigations are still not concluded, but to be frank with you, I am very disappointed with all of you that a member seated in this house with all colleagues around and no single colleague can pinpoint to the member who uttered those words. Even those of you sitting together, the three of you that have been identified, the zone is on the trail. this notice. Majority members, with your numbers watching the minority, you are telling me that none of you can identify the person who spoke. The person, honorable members, please. The person spoke not once, but twice. The minority leader on his feet turned to look in that direction. And none of you can identify the person who spoke. I'm very disappointed. What is even shocking, with all the cameras and the CCTV, none could capture the person who spoke. Honorable members, these are serious matters. And when they are properly brought to me, I take action. Shouts, noise will not compel me to take action. You know what to do.
Enti mrashe bedwa mo chame hene eno no na ba magrai na ba mo bupa asam na ne nwanwa se eda no a mrashe bedwa ni bi ka se daughter of a medra no wanka na baako waka ne mienu na mo mrashe bedwa fo no obi ante mo a motete bubo obomu no motete bemben no mo so obi ante dom kase no mo numbers bebrebe nyina mo de hwedom kuma so ma 88 isi mo so mo ante hwe ese asumasi ana obente wo se nipa miensa bi na say ensa ne tete wo mo so nti mo sa nipa miensa no mo hu hwan na kai nti obi ante de ha no kura ne se nipa kura so wo nyini nyonko nipa ma camera se wo fi ho so bi an capture nipa kura no ka daughter of medra no asam na ha speaker pa o e no so mo de mo nsere muni mani bre abra se bebe na se ni pa de ba anya mu de da mo be ye be twe na so ofie ha pa we eye de koso bra hye bedwam
ya fa kase bono enko enwomasua ho ensemwai ye nyina ye nim se ansa ben ebetena bengwa no so abra na se campaign bra ni gina mu no ye te se NDC amanyekuo no o manifesto mo hyega na fo bosse so mo ba enwomasua famade ba ko mo be hya ye amanaboa eye se free senior high school no Womo the private schools, private SHS no ebe rewrem said a bear betre adisuani mama bibian so etumi ayekama yeka say abino na enwumasia so no eso ebo amane se sa bo hye no aban ne share campaign bre no abino efrasia odidi enkoma enche bia ye ba be hu se next academic year no ye be hu se senior high schools de ye ankrakra de no private ones no wo mo so ye de bi ewra free senior high school no emu na Deputy Minister of Education Dr. Clement Abasa Park wono na chese woni central focus na day and wodi to dwase aban ne pese wo hye na double track system ni ye free ho ebe kobasa so de ne aban no de ankrakra senior high schools no be ka free SHS ho a ebetumi aboa ama double track system no aban no pese wo yi free ho no ebetumi eye free ama free senior high school no so aye kama yentie Dr. Clement Abasa Park.
We state that as part of our campaign promise, we have been working very, very diligently to bring on board private senior high schools to participate in the delivery of the free senior high school program. Meetings
ho some so Dr. Clement Abasa Park Netting Cano and into was here sharing Musa addition for more from 3 years. Edge be a macro BEC no. Omudu school selection no ye be hu se ankwankwa schools to private schools ni bi aba be frem omu betumi SGB edi aka ho se de be boa ama ba no bo hye no hye eni afi double track system no peso twam no nyina so ebetumi akwa boa ma de suana de kire ho sem so akonkan ewo ye mayemo
ye to akasebo no so ne ransom fofromo na anti corruption campaign awura Vitus Azim wabo aye asoya ehye Ghana ni amano nkita hodie ho nsam so abaso na abaso aboso afa woda no ono abosamlo kuje trouble akwa abaso so aya de pa ni nyira erese ono abosamlo kuje trouble akwa de ababa to dwase Ghana ya tena ya Washington DC katasha kankan ni dwirimu de pa ya ekoso ho no enya sam keto akora kwabrane te wosika esese efa asoye ho no na eko oman no efutuo mu no okwabrane ya divert sika no na eko no account mu no ori ni nyafunyafu eno ene nam so de betu dwase asoyere krampo no yatomo no na no wura Vitus Azim echese eya na montu papa ena honorable Samuel Okuje to ablakwa watu no yenti no.
I think it's a step in the right direction, and it is good that the ministry or the minister has decided to recall the staff and to temporarily. It's not a permanent closure. It's just for maybe a few days or weeks to have the investigation conducted. And there should be nothing wrong with that. After all, I think Ghana also has an embassy in New York and possibly in Canada, High Commission in Canada. So if there's an urgent need for a visa, people should be able to get it. So I think it is in the right direction, except that I expect a follow-up investigation, and those that are found culpable, the monies that have been illegally taken should be recovered from them, and possibly, if there's need for prosecution, we're going to proceed with prosecution of those involved. It is very sad that this issue was already known by the previous government, and they did nothing about it.
Vitus Azim enie enyentumo ne nkwa nya sa asabne de abeto dwane nkwa da bi esese ye toaso na yehwehwemu na face abo obi a woya kro no emra no ene no eni na fe yatena ya hodo wo Canada na New York ne ya de aka no obi a opem wo bia betimi akore so amane ne kro ampo ne se yankopɔ ye doma ya wada ebe ya ombesa so ebie sa na osoafo no ede abeto dwa honorable Vitus Azim ora Vitus Azim sanso ede to aso se wasra soafo ne se omane nka Washington DC de ono nko a onhwe Ghana yatena ya hodo wa man hodo so so wonfa ni eni akire ebia na bibia te se bi nso ekoso eno so se no kan no.
One of the approaches to fighting corruption is prompt investigations into credible allegations of corruption. So if you see that you try to share it, you are encouraging impunity. People, others will say, well, after all, this man did it and nothing happened to him or her. So they also do it. And maybe some people have gone on transfer or even unfortunately pass on. So at the end of the day, you defeat the purpose of fighting corruption. And even there are audit reports on some of these malpractices in some of our embassies, but nothing has been done about it. And so it's good that this has happened. And I would also encourage the ministry to look at past audit reports and to take sample embassies and scrutinize their finances. That may really uncover more serious cases than we have been told about Washington.
Right, tin kan oyobia obo de ro secretary se yenhwe na yentu ase ra Vitus Azim
match boso me afi mu a na so ye hwe nyina mahoden ensam so de beto Ghana fo anim se Electricity Company of Ghana wo mo containers be 1300 bia jira anyira baabia support ho na container seat ama port eyira je atso mo kire se wo mo ati abedwakuo bi o mo hwe ayehwehwemu akohwehwe ayekohu bi wo China fo bi warehouse wa ho sem ebe yompi ye kasei ahwe ye hwe nyina mahoden ne ensam so asaba bonten ebo amane ye se sa committee no a wo mo yehwehwemu ede afasa ECG for containers no ayira no wo mattress ye didi akire akohu containers be 2636 na kire se eno no abro 1,300 no ECG for baka kire say sa containers no na ayere na committee no kire say wo ma yo mu hwehwe mu nyina awie na wo mu wieye ansa na eba beto dwa say the ECG for kan no say ne mohu mienu eso na containers ya ajira no eno nti wo mu wieye na head of communications sa wo ministry ho metro energy ministry ho Richmond Roxon wono na wode atudwa se panyifo wie hwehwemu no said ECG forecast 1,300 ya committee ya be hwehwemu ho say 2,637 ye ene no mekoso adi akira aye hwehwemu ehunu de antia abaja pade de ente de ekopie mu ewo ankrankra bi ensem yera Richmond Roxon yentino.
At the time the minister took over, he had another briefing that ECG had about 2,500 containers at the port. Consistently, he was getting different figures for the number of containers at the port. So he caused an investigation to be conducted to ascertain the number of containers. The investigations also revealed that physically, like you mentioned, a number of containers were identified, but about 1,300 were unaccounted for. Fast forward, there was an investigative committee with the port authorities, customs, the Ministry of Transport. It also had the Ministry of Energy and National Security participate. And with that investigation, what has happened is that the ministry has been able to track, or the committee has been able to trace 2,637 containers. So that is all the containers involved.
Any IAT, head of communications, our energy ministry, Yera Richmond Roxon, and what she and Kase3 6Pm Honorable Patrick Boama, one also Kase3 energy ministry, Sada Roma, Wamom Shebja Fie, Nasamia Ecoso, Mufamu Cropote, the Omo Kase3 the Abato Janada, and Mato or more any more Muhudie, Ecoso, Honorable Patrick Boama in Tieno.
The minister said there are about 1,300 and something. Now GPHA is telling us that they've recovered about 2,600 containers. We also heard of about 3,000 containers. That's why we are going to ask the minister to come and give us the true position of what happened, what has been recovered, whether they were missing or misplaced. You are interested in the fact that whether they were misplaced, how can containers also be misplaced? Yes, it happens at the port. It's not the first time. If you are a public officer, don't be quick to call a news conference. Because what I've seen is that people want to vilify their opponents, but it will end up being that, oh, what I told the media earlier on was not a true position. At that time, you would have destroyed the person to the public.
Kase3 6Pm Honorable Patrick Boama and Yatinin King.
Betwa kasebone so nemo mesanso akogana yatena ya yatumo ewo Washington DC no emu na ukomra she bedwafia Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Committee wo hono member ba ko wo so Honorable Patrick Boama wono edede to osoafo ohwagana ne amano nkita wode wonsam aso Honorable Samuel Okujeto ablakwa enim se animanimu ya sasa atena ye na omde company credo atumu no wono emie o hyese ebema omafo ho no onho akire wo mo pa Ghana fo me ho omho akire wo mo eno achi eno kyese se kase atenaye aman bi atenaye wo man bi so a oman nanim no oman no nyina na asa yapone kakra de akwakosi wono mo no enti sa wotum sa no a edo ha bebre ena ebeba ntoro de ohuru ne sa ye bie mom na eto aso ye adwuma na fe omo a omo apiepie sa akatasha kankane dwiri mu die ni mu no ye yi wo mu mfiri ho na emra no eba beso wo mu panche no mom aye sa ye beto asoe ni nyina mu enti ono de wakasa asoe no eba ye asoafo Okujeto ablakwa wo hwe na omie.
The mission ought to be reopened immediately for business to continue whilst investigations go on. The minister has every power to deploy the force of state to ensure that those behind the alleged offense are brought to book. We will support him to uncover whatever rot there is at the embassy, anywhere in the ministry or any agency under him. But he should know that diplomacy also requires some tactfulness to ensure that our image globally is protected. He said for some few days, it's been more than 72 hours. And if somebody has a business to do in Ghana and had made arrangements to come to Ghana to meet the business community or any CSO or the media or whatever institution we have, that person's arrangement has been put in to jeopardy.
And here, Honorable Patrick Yabuama. Kasebona si yede na se wo mo mani nsuma dwumefo kwame ofori aboagye ye reporters wo mo so ebodwuma some for your falasan okoji abo kasebo nyina da won na sonso edema yen dem hadie si wo Bullet Fashion Center no DJ Bullet wono na wachinchi mfuruma ni nyina da ede amaye Facebook no ene other social media handles ni nyina Kelvin aka na nipa Minister Kunu wono na wahwe ye social media handles ni nyina so ede amaye ni enyumre akenkan for ayeme mantini aba maame efom wa kafena mene
adwa nyako abronoma
yade ayisian kaibo na etoso bafo owusu amankwati abantama hene enono na yim ayre abebio to ase hene abusuapani ejemanu to ase enowo womne abusuanka ya ewo to ase ene akwantuo nyina de areho ne yawo ese atiefo se ba mo wu ababefo mo papa womne aba ma omkunu womade nyina na owusu adade de ne ko ensiedo wote ase na dodo na friend cash na abusua echese nyankopon ya duma kotonima abusumi ya ewo mu yene da etwato kra eyememene da womde ne beto mpama homache no na wo ankasa ne fie wa bua kwa baby a ben total filling station ahomache no nan abusua baba beso ajamne ne de nkra ya etwato no achi wombeje mu ade ama abua kwa Roma soroma no ma baba ya wufusum ade amana ansana woma ma mu ne so ade akoto ase amuseye wofra abusua baba tena se ewa abua kwa RC School Park don kobre mu na fei cash anase na owusu adade na yenka ya womde atoso aya woma babo sume ne da ya edikan kra meche June 1 ayakwasi ada abusua nyina do mani be kirem ewo aya Roma so a ewo abua kwani mu no makwa do ba de nyamya se wofra so na mu ba abusua basan so aba betena se ewo abua kwa RC School Park don kobrem na fei na owusu adade woma nom ne Sikka Kase3 nkonwa gu na fei oma hata na chikra na abusua kiremu se emaya waja wonum ewakire omudin ene didi suin ohine yire Lady Julia ekoma me enono nananom adishe group and afe Queen Mother of Africa First Ladies first class ladies ha owombi afe owusu adade abusua nyina eka ho ora Tofik London ora Da Costa USA Miss Lini maame ya owusu USA afei ora yere Felicity Jesse Miss Rita Sister Kate eka ho abena frakuma ora Richard Mr Frank afe Mr Gordon and afe Mr Control omunyina and afe entafoni nyina ene abusuanka nyina eka ho na se eye ora Emmanuel kusi Boatin eno nti se de bafo owusu amankwati abantama hene ene abusuanka nyina esene no wo mo kyese memenda bay ene ne kwasi ada so ena nana owusu adade omo hata ne chikra nti brane so a omra meta ebutua no echi
Bishop akwasi opomensa ewo nkran Helena Yeboa ewo Kumasi Lucy opon ewo KO Francis nana ajeman enso ewo London omo ne abusua nka ye nyina e de yaw ene awerho ese adofo nyina se omo maame womo edofo Mrs Juliana Mensa Opon Otiase Auntie Julie na no bia e de efreno ba mawuo abefa no e de ne kɔ na sei na ye no ho hyehye esi etuanyame adom a meme de di animu ya me eboso me ne de to so aduasa bako busua ebeyi ye maame atompem e wo ye nya so Presby School Presby Church abai de chem so ahomache no nan na adofo abesu ejam na hwene nim de twato kra wo mu dwa meme nda kro no a o meye wufusom amano e wo ye nya so Presby Church a eno ebe de chem so anopa no nkunu ebreso ebusua wi a ombema emu ne so akosie na ebo awia donko pepepa ebusua betena se e wo New Tafo Divisional School Park a ebe de chem so awia donko breso eko ebusua wi a ne kwasia da so ye June osumini da edikan omako akoye enase som e wo ye nya so Presby Church a eno ebe de chem so anopa no nkunu pepepe na omofi ho a ebodonko awia bra busia besa betena omanem e wo New Tafo Divisional School Park ebe de chem so awia donko so na omo ababenom uraire Mami Juliana Mensa Opon Auntie Julie Sikka Kase3 etwato kwakrakrakọ no akobeba ene me ye ba ya de to bi ani so anwo no na eji enu nti adofo ne ajamfo nyina ye hye ne nso na na watwi awieye ye meja busua na wo mo enkra